Hello everyone and welcome back to NXT 2014. This is episode 3, NXT episode 3. I am HeelTayler and we open the show with Tyler Breeze. He's bursting into William Regal's office. He throws some paper and stuff off the desk all angrily. He's all live streaming it to Instagram from the selfie stick while he does it as well. So he's ranting to his fans about how Regal's just useless and really slow as a GM, and he demands him. He's like, I want to see that contract. I told you to go write it up last week. I told you I deserved it. You know I've earned it. Where is it? And Regal's like, oh, for God's sake, fine. You can't have it yet, but there'll be a contract signing next week to confirm you versus Adrian Neville at NXT TakeOver New York. And I guess it's 62, which is actually really good. Tyler Breeze just didn't look good again. I'm really torn on whether to script him or not because his stats say to do it, his things say not to do it. I've been on and off. I've got a few people I'm scripting, a few people I'm purposely not. Sami hasn't been scripted a lot because he's quite good with it. But I've shoehorned Regal in a few storylines here and there just because 62 is way better than the 20 Tyler Breeze would have got me. So, just for some segments here and there just to give it a bit of a boost and help us grow. We then go into another segment with Regal in where it's say it like we did the intro there, and then Charlotte's coming into his office after Tyler Breeze has already left, and Williams annoyedly putting his papers back on his desk oh god. And then Charlotte comes in, she knocks on the door, she's all nice, she's like, hello Mr. Regal, I was wondering what was happening with the NXT Women's title on NXT TakeOver New York, because no one's told me anything, because until he booked this show, Taylor also didn't know. And then William Regal tells her, well, don't you worry Charlotte, because later on in the show, we've booked a triple threat match with the winner going on to face her at NXT TakeOver New York. Those people will be Emma, Sasha Banks, and Bayley. This gets a 58, and it's actually really nice to see that and see this is how much Regal helped, because Charlotte is still rated on entertainment in the segment, but when she did it on her own, she got an 8. So this obviously really helps, and she was much better this time as well, which is good to see. Then into a 21, which kind of sucked, but I just wanted to get him on the show and debut Hideo Itami with a rating of 45, which is actually probably one of the best, other than Neville and Sami, I think. But he pretty much just dominates Willie Mack. 4 minutes 48 makes him tap out. 45. Willie Mack's actually doing okay with 31. He's on the roster. I don't really remember him on NXT. I'm thinking about just making him a job guy and then slowly letting him go because he didn't really do much here, but I could also make use of him with his ratings. I could find something for him maybe, so let me know what you want me to do with Willie Mack down below. Hideo with 45, like I say, it's really good. The segment itself kind of sucked. I think it's because it was domination, so it doesn't really matter. It's just debuting Hideo Itami. In the next segment, it's not very good rated because neither of them are very popular or great on the mic, but Buddy is backstage and he's talking to Alexa Bliss. We haven't seen her in a while, and she's sort of wearing all her glittery stuff. She's still clearly Tinkerbellish, as that's how I described her back then. But she's definitely not got as much of a nice demeanor. She's just sort of chewing on her little wand thing she used to come out with the star on the end, and then she's just basically Buddy Murphy's trying to talk to her and she's kind of just ignoring him, being like, yeah, and he's like, so are you going to be watching my match later or in a bit with Oliver Gray? And she's like, well, that depends. I only really pay attention to winners. And then he tries to say things after that. He's like, yeah, well, I've won before. I do win in wrestling matches. And she's just looking at her phone or whatever. And he's like, oh, fuck you then. And walks off. Yes. We then get a segment where Sami Zayn comes out to the ring with 43, see? And he challenges Bo Dallas for TakeOver New York. And then Bo comes out and he's like, no, he's like, I've already been the pinnacle of NXT. I've been to the top. I know what the peak's like. I can get back there whenever I want because I know, and the Bo Leavers know, that I'm the biggest star in this company. I mean, I'm the longest reigning NXT champion. I'm just the best wrestler here. And I don't get anything if I face you, Sami. So Sami's like, what the hell, man? He's shouting down the mic. He's like, you can't berate me, blah, blah, you're supposed to be a wrestler. How can you be a coward? And Bo Dallas is just laughing and kind of walks off. And obviously Sami's very, very heated over this. We then go into that Oliver Gray and Buddy Murphy match, and Oliver Gray actually defeats him in 6 minutes 41 seconds with a twisting brainbuster. But he only gets a 23, which is a bit disappointing. I'd like to see him in the 30s at least. Oliver Gray doing okay with 29, considering it's his first match as well. Moving on. Then we get a Corey Graves vignette again, and he's like in this car park with a hoodie on with like spikes on it or something, thinking he's really super cool and dope and a absolute bad boy punk. And yeah, he's sat there and he's like, I can't believe I could lose to Xavier Woods just because they put me with such a bad tag team partner in, I'll be completely honest, I can't remember who he was with. But yeah, they're like, my tag team partner sucked, and that's why I lost. It had nothing to do with me. I am one of the best wrestlers in the world, and I'll prove it by any means necessary. And I want my rematch. And I know you'll give it to me. And as he walks back, the camera like pans out and does a widescreen, and you can see there's a trash can burning, and Corey Graves like flicks one last comic into it, the Spider-Man comic. And the last time we saw this Spider-Man comic was a couple weeks ago. We saw it in the segment with Woods showing Yoshitatsu all his comics that he was really excited about. Like, Tatsu didn't really get it, but could see how passionate he was, so he was just being nice to him. And Corey Graves has gone and destroyed them. All of them. So I don't think Woods is going to be too happy. And then we get into a 21 rated segment. It's not great, but I just want to start some story things with the women rolling out here. I need to get the ball rolling a bit, and then I can branch off and do some separate reviews. And I just need to get them in my head a bit and work out how I'm booking these ladies, not in like 2018 to 2021 type things. In their earlier days of 2014, it's a bit harder with these guys because they weren't as fleshed out as characters and such. I think Becky Lynch was still like Irish dancing or something at this point. I don't know. But yeah, it's basically Sasha Banks comes up and she tells Becky, like, I see a bit of myself in her. Like, they're backstage, obviously she gave it a round of applause at the end of her match last week that she won. And Sasha's like, yeah, I see a lot of myself in you, you know? You're a strong, you're a powerful woman, you love yourself, you know your capabilities, and I could help you become a star, you know, like me and you together. That could be something different. This could be a powerhouse in this division. We could take hold of it before it's barely even begun. And Becky's like, I don't know about that, but we'll have to see. And anyway, moving on, because remember, Sasha's in that Triple Threat number 1 contenders match in a little bit. We then just get the word 1 on the Titantron. It's just going to be, this is my way of building up Ty Dillinger, because they did it, and I feel obliged. I might get bored as soon as the starting thing's done, give him like one story, and then you'll never see him again. Or he could go on to become NXT champion, who knows. But yeah, it's just literally just 30 seconds to a minute of just the words, like the letter spelt out 1 on the Titantron, and the whole show sort of just pauses. And as soon as it's gone, we move straight back into the entrances for the women's number 1 contenders match, which I was hoping for better. I was especially hoping for better for Sasha Banks. Jesus Christ, that's not good. But it didn't have much heat, and it had terrible wrestling. Banks actually defeated Bayley and Emma in 9 minutes 9 seconds when Banks beat Emma with the Bank statement. 24s respectively for Bayley and Emma, which are actually pretty good. 17 from Sasha Banks is a bit of a worrying rating, and it's not really what you want to see, is it? But we move on. And then it's Dallas and Regal. And Regal's actually coming up to Dallas this time, and he's like, hey, it would be really good if you did take the match against Sami Zayn. You know, Bo Dallas, Sami Zayn, both NXT household names, and that'd be really good to have on the second takeover. You know, we want to keep this ball rolling. We want to keep the momentum of NXT takeover and NXT truly becoming its own big show, breaking out from the WWE banner. And it'd be really good for business if you could take this match. And Bo just thinks about it in his head, and he's like, I'll do the match. on one condition. And when he says one condition, I just really like to think instead of holding up his hand and doing like his forefinger as we would with like one condition, he does it with his thumb, like one thumbs up. He's like, one condition. And he just leans in and he whispers it to Regal. And we can't quite hear it yet. And Regal's just, he's sort of shocked by the statement, but he's like, all right, I'll see what I can do. And walks off. And that's the last we hear about it. Then go to the main event, which actually I think is the best match so far because Elias has like 64 popularity for some reason. They also don't seem to click. But Elias has also been called up like very, very quickly anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But fantastic heat and great wrestling. Samson. I booked it wrong. Samson beat Gabriel in 11 minutes 49 seconds by submission. Definitely not what was meant to happen, which is really kind of annoying. But okay, so I can quickly alter this just through speaking about it. Let's just say the Ascension interfered and cost Gabriel, and then this segment, instead of being on the Tron like it says they are here, they're actually out in the ring whilst Gabriel's laying down hurt and doing a promo. And they basically say they'll be here next week to open the show. And they want to see if they want to see who Gabriel thinks his partner's going to be for this match, and they'll see if he's worthy and if Gabriel, as them as a team, is worthy of a tag team title shot. And that's how we end the show, and we get a 51. Annoyed about that main event. Like, the rating was really good, but Justin Gabriel was meant to go over, I'm going to be honest. Everything pretty decent other than Buddy and Alexa stuff, but obviously there's a lot more to build on there. But yeah, all in all, pretty good. And 51. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm content with that. It's actually really good. We had some good rate segments as well. So I will see you all in episode 4, which will also be the go-home show for NXT TakeOver New York.